Hi friends, welcome to AKN Sprint Education. Myself Naveen, and today's our topic is about probability. Friends, if you toss a coin, what is the probability of getting a tail? Or if you roll a die, what is the chance of getting number 5? If you pull a pack of cards, what is the chance of getting heart? Or else it may rain today. The probability of highly winning the match our team today. See, these all are uncertainty, that is randomness, because we are not sure about the result. And today we are discussing about our session about probability. Probability is nothing but measure of uncertainty or else randomness. Okay, so the first one, if you toss a coin, suppose if you toss a coin, what are the possible outcomes? Tossing a single coin, tossing a single coin is called experiment. If we toss a single coin, what are the possible outcomes? Either you may get head, H-E-A-D, or you may get tail. Either you may get head or you may get tail. These are the possible outcomes. I mean, here number of possible outcomes are one is head and second one is tail. So I mean total number of outcomes are 2. Now our question is, what is the probability of getting head? See, probability of getting head. Children, here getting head or getting tail is an event, children. Try to understand the terminology. Experiment in the sense, tossing a coin is called an experiment, and getting head or tail is an event. Okay, so what is this? This P indicates probability of E in the sense event. So probability of getting a head. Suppose in case of head, you can also write, our question is about probability of getting a head. So which is an equally likely outcome? Equally likely outcomes. Okay, when you toss a coin, either you may get head, either you may get tail. Both are equally likely outcomes. Okay, suppose if you toss a single coin, what is the probability of getting head? Okay, so number of favorable outcomes getting a head, you may get one type. So the probability of getting a head is 1 by 2. So what is the probability of an event? E is equal to number of favorable outcomes by total number of. outcomes. This is the most important formula in this chapter. So, what is the probability of an event E? P of E is equal to number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes. So here E is nothing but event. Here our event is getting a head and divided by total number of outcomes. Total number of outcomes are how many? Head and tail, 2 outcomes, and number of favorable outcomes are how many? Here our favorability is what? Getting a head, right? Our favor is getting a head. You will get only 1 times, that is 1 by 2. 1 by 2. I mean, which is nothing but 50% chance. Right? 50% means 50 by 100. 51 ja, 52 ja, that is called 1 by 2. Or also we can write as 1 by 2 in the sense 0.5. Most probably we will write a probability in fractions. Okay, that is P of H is equal to 1 by 2. Right? So now my question is, my event is, what is the probability of getting a tail? So getting head and getting tail are equally likely outcomes, which is also 50% of chance. 50-50. Heading 50%, tail also 50%. 50% in the sense 50 by 100. 51 ja, 52 ja. That is equal to 0.5. So when we toss a single coin, the probability of getting head, that is P of X is equal to 1 by 2. We can also write as 0.5. When we toss a single coin, what is the probability of getting tail? That is 50%, 50 by 100, 1 by 2 in the sense 0.5. Right? Now let us see few more questions. Tossing a coin twice. Okay, tossing 2 coins. Suppose if we toss 2 coins. Let us see now. Tossing 2 coins. When we toss 2 coins, what are the possible outcomes? Right? So either you may get head, you may get head tail, because we are tossing 2 coins, children. Either you may get tail head or else tail. I mean, when we toss 2 coins, number of possible outcomes are 4. They are head tail, tail head and tail. I mean, number of possible outcomes are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Number of possible outcomes are 4. Okay. Now, our event is, what is the probability of getting at least 1 head? So our question is what? Probability of getting an event is at least 1 head. That is our event. Probability of getting at least 1 head. See here. Here we have 2 heads. At least 1 head we have. Here also 1 head we have. Here also one head we have. I mean, number of favorable outcomes are how many? Number of favorable outcomes are 3. And the total number of possible outcomes are 4. So what is the probability of an event? Which is equal to number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes. So favorable outcomes are 3 and total number of outcomes are 4. So our event is at least 1 head. Now coming to at least 1 tail, that is our event. That is P of E, at least 1 tail. 1, 2, 3. Here we have 1 tail. Here we have 1 tail. Here also we have 1 tail. At least 1 tail, that is 3 by 4. Now coming to my third event, what is the probability of getting at most at most 2 heads. I mean P of E, our event is getting at most 2 heads. How many we have? At most 2 heads. Only one favorable outcome we have. At most means both are heads only. So number of favorable outcomes are 1. So number of favorable outcomes are 1 by total number of outcomes are how many? 4. So the answer is 1 by 4. Now coming to at most 2 tails. At most 2 tails. So that is P of E. Our event is at most 2 tails. So number of favorable outcomes are how many? At most. I mean both are tails only. Only we have one favorable outcome. And number of possible outcomes are 4. So P of E equal to 1 by 4. When we toss 2 coins. Right? Now coming to throwing a die. When we throw a die, what are the possible outcomes? Okay? Throwing a die. When we throw a die, I mean single die. Okay? When we throw a single die, what are the possible outcomes? The possible outcomes are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So number of all possible outcomes are 6 children when we throw a single die. Now our event is when we throw a single die, what is the probability of getting number 5? Okay, let us see now all the events. So probability of getting a number 5. Okay, so that we consider as P of E. So getting our number of our event is what? Favorable event is getting head 5. Okay, so these all are equally likely outcomes. Okay, so getting number 5, I mean number of favorable outcomes are 1. So number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes, favorable outcomes are 1 and total number of outcomes are 6. Okay, now my question is, what is the probability of not getting 5? Not getting 5. See children, this is probability of getting number 5. This is our first event. And the second event is, what is the probability of not getting number 5? Not in the sense, we need to represent as P of E bar. Not getting 5 except 5 remaining all numbers. I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our favorable outcomes are 5 children. So number of favorable outcomes are 5 and total number of outcomes are 6. See, getting number 5 and probability of not getting number 5, they both are called complementary events. These two events are called complementary events. They are called complementary events. I mean, probability of getting a number 5 plus probability of not getting a number 5, that must be is equal to 1. Children, if you want to check it, so probability of getting a number 5 is 1 by 6 plus probability of not getting a number is 5 by 6. As the LCM is 6, I mean 1 plus 5, so 1 plus 5, that is 6 by 6, which is equal to 1. So the very important formula is here, P of E plus P of E bar is equal to 1 children. E in the sense getting it number 5 and E bar is not getting a number 5. I mean, this is getting a event, this is not getting an event. Okay, see children, we can also write this as P of E bar equal to, if you transpose here, it will become 1 minus P of E. So P of E bar is equal to 1 minus P of E. Right? Now, coming to one more event, when we throw a single die, what is the probability of getting an even number? What is our event? Event is getting an even number. So what are the even numbers here, children? Here even numbers are 2, 4, 6. So number of favorable outcomes are how many? Number of favorable outcomes are 3 and total number of outcomes are 6. I mean answer is 3 by 6. 3 1 ja, 3 2 ja. So answer is what? 1 by 2. 3 1 ja, 3 2 ja, that is 1 by 2. Right? Now coming to one more event, what is the probability of getting an odd number? So our event is what? What is the probability of getting an odd number? That is P of E equal to, what are the odd numbers? 1, 3, 5. So answer is number of favorable outcomes are 3 and total number of outcomes are 6. So answer is 3 by 6, 3 1 ja, 3 2 ja, 1 by 2. Right? Now my question is, when we throw a die, what is the probability of getting a number 7? Getting a number 7. When we throw a die, what is the probability of getting a number 7? Is there any chance, children, getting a number 7? Because outcomes only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But there is no number 7 in possible outcomes. So number of favorable outcomes are how many, children? Number of favorable outcomes are 0. I mean probability of getting a number 7 is 0. Number of favorable outcomes, total number of outcomes are 6. 0 by 6, 0. So such an event is called as impossible event. Let me write here, impossible event. What do you mean by impossible event? I mean the probability of getting a number is 0. If the probability of getting an event is 0, I mean if P of E equal to 0, such an event is called as impossible event. Such an event is called as impossible event. Now coming to one more question, when we throw a die, what is the probability of getting a number less than 7? Getting a number, my event is what? Getting a number less than 7. Getting a number less than 7. This is our event. Less than 7, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number of possible outcomes are, number of favorable outcomes are 6 and number of total possible outcomes are also 6. So answer is what? 6 by 6. I mean 6 1 ja, 6 1 ja. That is answer is what? 1. So such an event is called as sure event, children. Such an event is called sure event. I mean the probability of getting a number is equal to 1. So such an event is called as sure event. Right? Now children, coming to sum of the all possible outcomes. Okay. Now my question is, as we know that when we throw a single coin, what is the probability of getting a head? When we throw a single coin, the probability of getting a head is 1 by 2. And we throw a single coin, the probability of getting tail is 1 by 2. Now, what is the sum of the all outcomes? I mean, P of H plus P of T. So probability of getting head is 1 by 2. Probability of getting tail is 1 by 2. I mean 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, that is 2 by 2, nothing but 1. I mean sum of all outcomes, sum of all the probabilities. All the probabilities must be is equal to 1. Sum of all the probabilities of a certain experiment must be is equal to 1. So probability of here our outcome, our experiment is tossing a coin. When we toss a single coin, outcomes are head and tail. So here we have two events. One event is getting a head, 1 by 2. Other event is getting a tail, 1 by 2. Sum of these two events, 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2, that is equal to how much? 1. So always sum of all the events, sum of the probabilities of all events must be is equal to 1. You take any experiment, sum of all the events of a probability must be is equal to 1. So that is the most important point here. Now coming to one more thing. When we toss a single coin, getting head is 1 by 2. 1 by 2 in the sense 0.5. Right? 1 by 2 in the sense 0.5. Now, for example, when we throw a single die, what is the probability of getting a number less than 4? Our event is getting a number less than 4. See, when we throw a die, these are the outcomes. Getting a number less than 4 or less than or equal to 4. Less than or equal to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So answer is what? 4 by 6. 2 2 jar, 2 3 jar. That is 2 divided by 3. 3 6 are 18. 0.66 something. Okay. Now, when we throw a single die, what is the probability of getting composite numbers? What is the probability of getting composite numbers? What are the composite numbers? The numbers which are having more than 2 factors. The numbers which are having more than 2 factors, that is 4 and 6. Our event is what? Getting a composite number. What is the probability of getting a composite number? Number of favorable outcomes are 2. Total number of outcomes are 6. 2 1 jar, 2 3 jar. 1 by 3. 1 divided by 3, you will get 0.3 something. Now my question, when we throw a die, what is the probability of getting a prime number? What are the prime numbers here, children? 2, 3, 5. Number of favorable outcomes are 3. Total number of outcomes are 6. 3 1 jar, 3 2 jar. So answer is what? 0.5. When we throw a die, when we toss a coin, probability of getting head is 0.5. When we throw a die, probability of getting a number less than or equal to 4, we said. Less than or equal to 4, 0.6. Probability, when we throw a die, what is the probability of getting a composite number? 0.3. Getting a prime number? 0.5. What we observe here? You can observe here the probability of an event. The probability of an event is always lies between 0 and 1.